one of those things where it's, the only people who know about you are the other pros, but they know about you, and they're you have to be a pretty talented player to pull that off.
Yeah, because it's funny when you play Magic for a long time. There's a lot of people that you kind of know, but you don't really know. Like you just know their face. You're like, oh, I know that guy. You see him around all the time. And Michael is definitely one of those guys that you see him at the Pro Tours all the time, and you wonder, wow, this guy,
He's still here?
He's still
Okay,
here. Yeah. How does he keep showing up all the time?
How do I not know who he is yet? This is like the 7th event I've seen him at. All right, so we're on game 2. This is Chris Yarbrough's blue-white-red control. We've seen that on camera a couple times. Remember, it's a big red in red control.
Yeah. So, wow, it looks like Michael has a couple of copies of Domestication in his hand. I'm not sure if I can. It seems like that's what that is, but if that's the case, it's pretty next level because he knows that Chris has Burmaz. So pretty.
How cool is that? Yeah, I think you're right. He's waiting for a Burmaz.
Yeah, I don't know if Chris would expect the Domestication after board.
Yeah. All right, well, we have our second match into the top 8, and this is actually going to be Kent Ketter's opponent. Dylan Harris 2-0 defeats Caleb Bird. So Kent will have to face off against another black-white mid-range deck in the top 4 tomorrow. If the first match is any indicator, though, he is more than ready for the challenge.
Yeah, and Harris does have Desecration Demons instead of Alms Beast, so it could be a little more difficult for Kent, but we'll see. I mean, if the first match was any indication, I think he's probably okay with that.
He's ready for it. But back to our match. First play of the game there is, well, Renowned Skills takes care of Frostburn Weird, and now Chris will play Jace -2 it. And things are a little difficult for Michael. It looks like the Jace, he's giving up his own Jace here because there's a Mutavault in play. But it's going to hit Supreme Verdict, Gainsay, and Steam Vents. All pretty good cards against Mono Blue.
Yeah, I'm surprised that he's so aggressive with the Jace here, given that Mako just has a Mutavault in play. Uptaking Jace can be pretty effective.
It's pretty safe, right?
Yeah, I don't think you really have to downtake it just yet. But
Michael will oblige. He'll take care of the Jace.
Yeah, so he's going to have 2 plays here. He's going to play a Timebiter Mage and deal with the Jace in one turn.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited here to watch Michael play. I haven't had too many chances, as you said before, an under-the-radar player to see him play. But, certainly his results speak volumes.
So Chris is going to take 2 to play and Assemble the Legion. And interesting here, Michael does draw one of his sideboard cards and has
a big
Jace Architect
Memory Adept. Yeah, so Chris has kept in an Assemble the Legion, and Michael, I do not believe, has any answers to an Assemble Legion. He can Cyclonic Rift it if he's kept those in, but that's it.
But I think the Jace might actually race.
The Jace will absolutely. Well, the question is if he can keep the Jace alive.
Well, he's got Tidebinder, so he's not going to be able to attack Jace this turn, and then it looks like he has a Mutavault, and he has a Judge's Familiar in his hand, so I think he
that's
might
the
be.
Game, then,
yeah,
isn't it? Yeah.
It might be enough. I think he's doing the math right now to make sure.
Well, Yarbrough could have a Supreme Verdict.
He
does have the Verdict.
Yarbrough has plenty of draws, but I think Michael's basically trying to figure out, is my Jace, is it enough on its own if all things
I think it has to be. I don't know if he has another plan here. So he's going to cast Jace and immediately zeros it. So that's 10 cards off the top of Yarbrough's deck.
Yeah, so he's going to get, I think he's pretty safe for at least 10, 20 cards unless Chris draws a Detention Sphere.
All right, and that is 10 off the top. And you're right, that's 2 Domestications in Major's hand.
Yeah. So
what do you think of that plan? You're a mono blue player. That's so aggressive, but it could pay such dividends.
Yeah, I think it's given that Chris's sideboard, and he's likely bringing in Judge's Familiar. Not only that, but it's also good against Burmaz. I kind of like it.
All right, so we see on Yarbrough's side, he did have that Gainsay that they know about. Other than that is a Supreme Verdict and a couple more lands. He's going to shock off this Sacred Foundry down to 16. And that's Supreme Verdict right here. I almost expected to see it wait another turn, but he wants to clear the blockers immediately to get at that Jace.
So I wouldn't be surprised if Michael leads with a Judge's Familiar here. Chris might just try to gainsay it, but if he doesn't gainsay it, then I see Domestication probably stealing the token and giving him an extra turn there.
Yeah, well, there's not a token right now, but there will be in a turn. The token
I'm sorry, yeah, he did Verdict it, yeah.
Yeah, but there will be plenty. I would not be surprised to see Domestication on a Soldier token be cast at some point here. All right, so 10 more cards off the top. That's 20 off Chris's deck. He can reasonably get 30 cards off the top of his deck. And actually, because he has Assemble in play, he could even get milled for 40 cards and still be fine. Could be.
Yeah.
That one would be. That's running it close. But he can just draw one card a turn. The assemble should race him drawing card. Like should win before he decks.
Yeah, he'll get like he'll basically get like 10 more turns.
Yeah, maybe more like 5 or something, but enough.
Yeah.
So pair of domestications, Judge's Familiar, and that last card is Bident of Thassa in Michael's hand. He does have that Mutavault, so I think he's going to bait here with Judge's Familiar, see if that gets gainsayed. And now he can follow up with Bident of Thassa, and it cannot be countered. Clever little line in there.
Well, it can be countered.
Well, it can be, but it'll trade with the Judge's Familiar.
Yeah, I don't think you want to trade the Judge's Familiar here, though.
That's interesting. Okay, so
I think you want to be able to block the assemble token. That's the thing. That's the thing here. It's really
I'd say,
tough.
how many situations against a Revelation deck would you rather have Judge's Familiar than Bident?
Yeah.
Given the choice, this is pretty rare.
It's exactly what happens. He's going to let it resolve.
Yeah.
So 2 assemble Legion tokens come into play here. And wow, it looks like Yarbrough drew an Elspeth.
And that really shows that Michael is aware of just, that he can't enter the assemble and that this Jace plan, that's what he has. But you're right, more tokens for Elspeth are created by Elspeth, so now there will be 6 tokens attacking next turn.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure on Jace.
So this plan is no longer going to work here for Michael.
Well, Michael can still top deck. If he draws with Jace, he hits a Cyclonic Rift. That will save him. He can plus on the Jace and then rift everything, but I think he's going to have a play along that, about that magnitude.
Yeah, I think he has to draw a card here. He can't really afford to just mill 10.
Other than rift, is he drawing to anything?
Rift's pretty good.
That's the, could he stack his deck? That's the card he'd be drawing. But
yeah.
Is he just drawing to it?
I think so.
All right, it's not where you want to be. +1, mill and draw, and it's not rift. It's an island.
So. Looks like Elspeth and Assemble are going to get the job done here. He could domestication one of the creatures.
One question is whether or not he wants to show domestication.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They have access to each other's deck lists, but if I'm Yarbrough, I'm not actually expecting Michael to board in domestications. If I'm Michael, I don't think domestication is going to win me this game.
I don't think it's going to win you the game. So why give away that kind of information?
That is, if you plan to keep it in again.
Yeah, because even if you cast domestication, it doesn't matter. Your Jace is going to die.
Well, one thing that Michael did, if you noticed, was that he actually looked through Yarbrough's discard to see if he'd milled any Bramaz. To see, hey, did this domestication gamble work out? I don't believe he found a Bramaz, and he's halfway through Yarbrough's deck. Yarbrough does have 3 Bramaz in the sideboard. To me, that's a telltale of, hey, okay, this plan didn't work.
All right.
So now he's going to show it. Because if Yarbrough didn't board in the Bramaz, well, then this gambit very much failed.
Yeah, I don't like showing it because your Jace is going to die. So really, you're getting no value out of showing it. Your Jace is dying this turn no matter what. You can block one of the tokens. You can activate Mutavault to block another. And you're still getting 4.
Mutavault blocks 1. Jace goes down. Yeah, Chris still had a very healthy 16 life points.
And did both tokens? Oh, no, the token didn't block.
Yeah, the token didn't block.
Because everything was going after Jace anyway. It didn't really matter.
Yeah, but I don't think Michael can win this game anymore.
Yeah, there's just... Elspeth is too hard to beat.
Yeah, he will even Supreme Verdict, blowing up 6 of his own tokens, and Michael's 1. And the Mutavault. Yeah, okay, and the Mutavault, wow. So, Elspeth ticks to 6.
Yeah, really nothing here that Michael can do. So, Michael loses the second game, and Chris is now going to be trying to win this third game here. He's going to be on the draw, but again, does Michael change his strategy now, knowing that he didn't really see any Bramaz in nearly 50 cards almost?
Well, if I'm Michael, at the very least, I'm going to pull some cards out of my deck, put them in my sideboard, and pull some cards in my sideboard and put them back in my deck and shuffle. Now, if that's the same cards going each way, I at least want to give the impression that I'm switching things up. I don't want to give my opponent the knowledge that I'm keeping in domestications. That kind of re-sideboarding of the same cards thing, something that you can see players do sometimes.
I think domestication's fine if your opponent has both Bramaz and Angel in the sideboard, or Archangel.
Yeah, he has just Bramaz. He actually has 2 Storm Breath Dragons in the sideboard.
And we saw that, and that was one of the cards
that
he
they were
did mill.
milled. So Yeah, I think because he saw Storm Breath. Yeah, I'm thinking I don't like that he showed the domestication there.
Yeah, because again, you're not going to win that game.
No,
There's no way you're
no.
winning that game. So
He didn't
why
draw
give
the
away your
rift. Yep.
strategy? Because again, especially if you know you're going to be on the play in the next game, that's one of those things where if you could domesticate the Bramaz on your turn 4, when Chris maybe thinks that, oh, my turn 3, this will get me going, suddenly everything changes for you. So yeah, I don't like giving away your strategy. The only thing I can think of is if you decide to take him out now, but it's weird because his strategy basically involved Jace Memory Adept and domestication. They don't really, they kind of go hand in hand if you think your opponent's bringing Bremenez, but I don't know what you do after board if you think your opponent isn't going to have him anymore. I think you might have to just keep him in.
You keep in the domestications.
Yeah, I think Michael might have been just kind of leveling Chris here, and kind of just like he knows he's going to lose, so he's just going to cast it, thinking that maybe Chris will change his strategy once Michael goes back to his sideboard. Maybe they're trying to level each other, but I don't really think there's really not much. Like Michael's got a Dispel in his sideboard. He's got a Cyclonic Rift, 2 Jace Architect of Thought, 3 Gainsay, 2 Jace Memory Adept. The cards that I think he definitely wants in this matchup are 1 Biden Athasa, 1 Negate, 2 Jace,
3
Memory
Gainsay.
Adept, 2 Jace Architect of Thought, and 3 Gainsay. Those are 9 cards that I think he definitely
Actually,
wants.
how about 1 Dispel?
And the 1 Dispel. So those are
So 10 cards he wants already.
10 cards. Cloudfin Raptor is not very good against blue-white base decks. You don't need all 4 copies of Master of Waves.
Tidebinder Mage you can shave on if you want. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, I think Tidebinder Mage you can shave on those numbers. But I don't actually I like cutting Master more than Tidebinder, just because I find there are a lot of games where if I just had double blue to activate my Thassa or make my Thassa into a creature, that's the difference between winning and losing. So I kind of like shaving more of the Master numbers than Tidebinder Mages. But he has 2 copies of Hybridization Mane, 1 Cyclonic Rift, and 2 Domestications. I'm not sure you can afford to have those in your deck. I mean, obviously Bramaz could be problematic, but I think if your plan is to kind of play Jace Architect Thought, I think it's fine. You don't really care that much about Bramaz.
Yeah, that's... So in that case then, if you don't actually care about Bramaz that much, if your majors are the domestications in your deck, or are they in the board?
I think I take him out. I think I take out the Hybridizations, the Domestications, and the 4 Cloudfin Raptor, so that's 8 cards.
Yeah.
I probably take out 2 Master Waves too for the remaining 10, and I probably just go for the control package.
Absolutely.
And just forget about Bramaz.
Sure.
Because Domestication was just so bad for him. Like it
he had
basically
2. Certainly, I wouldn't want
even
to play
one. Even if it was
bad.
1, it's so bad. If that was a game, if that was a negate or a Jace, it's it's a completely different story.
One thing he has going from looking at Yarbrough's sideboard, we saw somewhat of how he sideboard there. It looks like he brought in the Stormbreath Dragons for game 2. I would have to assume the Gainsay is in the deck. It's a hard counter at 2. It's excellent, but he only has 1. Outside of that, other things he can look at are Ratchet Bomb, Anger of the Gods. But the problem which he has in the matchup is that mono blue becomes this aggro control deck. So you're not, you can board an Anger, but you're not gonna 2-for-1 them with it. It's really just a 1-for-1 kill spell. And you already, your deck already has a lot of really efficient 1-for-1s.
I agree, but I think the potential to 2-for-1 and the fact that you can deal with Nightveil Spectre, it might be worth it to still bring him in. Just because
Sure.
I agree with you, you're not going to get a tremendous amount of value, but if you can anger the gods, a Nightveil Spectre, instead of having to use one of your detention spheres, I think you're happy because you really want to use their detention spheres on their Planeswalkers or their Thassa. And again, the potential to 2-for-1 them. I mean, they could get those draws where it's like Tidebinder Mage into Nightveil Spectre, and you're ecstatic that you have the anger there.
Right. All right, so I have a question for you. This came up in a discussion I was having about mono blue. So if Tidebinder Mage was an enchantment instead of a creature, would you like it more or less?
If it was in Mono Blue Devotion, I'd like it more.
If so just not all it is it's a blue enchantment that just taps a red or green creature.
It'd be fantastic.
It'd be better. Okay.
It'd be fantastic. Yeah.
What does that say about the deck? Because that card's terrible.
If there was,
that's the best part. If I told you there's a enchantment, yeah, for blue, it sometimes taps down a creature.
If there was an enchantment that was blue, and it just allowed you to scry every other turn, I still might like it more than like it might be better because like Tidebinder Mage is dead in a lot of matchups, just because the green decks kind of got pushed to the wayside because of mono black, and just having a permanent source of two blue devotion is so huge.
Right, I know.
It's like that and Thassa, and then like a Biden is like that's it. Yeah. I have a 5/5 indestructible no matter what.
We had this discussion in a group of players, at a recent Grand Prix, and I think more people were on that side. It wasn't unanimous, but it was a lot of discussion. I'll say that much.
Although your Thassa is more likely to die to devour flesh. That is one thing. There are a lot more scenarios where your Thassa is going to die to devour flesh, but it's I don't know. Just having those two blue, like that's why.
The question is like, what's the so this developed what's the worst card you would play that had blue in its mana cost? And you're like, you think it's pretty bad,
Imagine counterbalance. Like you had no way to scry or anything. It'd be blind every turn. Counterbalance would be amazing. It would be even if you had no top in your deck.
Right.
Just getting a counterbalance out there, be like.
All right. Even if I might get value. Wow.
I might counter one spell a game. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's huge. I can't. Oh God, counterbalance.
That'd be pretty good. I would think in the blue devotion deck. Counterbalance would be nice.
Just randomly get it out there. Oh.
Hey, that's good.
Counter your Caryatid with my Frostburn Weird. Thanks.
All right, so players are shuffling up here for game 3. So remember, we are in the top 8, if you're joining us, of the Standard Open here in Nashville, Tennessee. We are going into game 3. This is the 4 versus 5 matchup. Michael Majors versus Chris Yarbrough. Michael took game 1, lost game 2. That's actually kind of counter what you'd expect in the mono blue versus Revelation matchup. Normally, game 1 is the difficult game.
Well, I think after board, this didn't really come up in this particular in the last game, but I think having Revoke Existence is really big for these decks because part of your strategy after board when you're mono blue is to rely more on Thassa and Biden. So
Revoke's excellent in this matchup.
Yeah, the fact that blue-white has additional answers to those cards, they don't have to tap 3 mana for Detention Sphere.
All right, our game is underway. Michael Majors on the aggro control game plan is a turn 2 Frostburn Weird as his first play. Chris with a full grip. He's going to shock to 18 and Mizium mortars the Frostburn Weird, keeping the board clear.
Yep, and he does have that Bramaz in his hand. So we are going to see a turn 3 Bramaz out of
I don't know if we're going to see a domestication back. I don't believe it's there this time. Well, that shows us, right?
Again, both players really kind of trying to level each other, and it might have worked out for Chris here.
All right, well, turn 3 Thassa was Michael's play. He's got to be pretty happy to get that down, but now he is facing against the King of Oreskos. That is Bramaz. We've seen him all day out of blue-white sideboards. He has been nothing short of powerful.
And Michael's going to scry on his turn with Thassa's ability, and he's going to ship it to the bottom.
He draws an island. I can't think that's what he was looking for. He does have an awful lot of blue devotion in his hand, a pair of Frostburn Weirds. One thing he can do, and you were saying this is why you still weren't sure about Bramaz in this deck, is by playing out enough Frostburn Weirds, he can force Chris to wrath his own Bramaz.
Yeah. Because Bramaz is still going to get trumped by Thassa. But it looks like Chris does have a Detention Sphere, so if he does try to go down that road, that's going to be pretty devastating. And if he drew a second Bramaz, that's huge. We'll
see if he does that. We may also just see him Sphere the Thassa. The Bramaz does resolve, though. His hand is Detention Sphere, some lands, and an Elspeth. So, but Yarbrough will go on the attack. That's Bramaz being joined by a Cat Soldier.
I kind of like playing the Temple to scry, getting a little more information, and then just playing the second Bramaz. It's not legendary, right?
No, no. The Cat King's legend. He's definitely a legend. He has a name. There's only one King of the Cats.
Oh, in that case, then I like.
You like it less.
I like it less.
All right, Detention Sphere will be cast. Does Michael have the gainsay or the negate for it? We will see here. He does not.
Yeah, and so Chris is still in really good shape here. He's going to keep the card on top of his library, and he's got Elspeth in his hand. And we saw how devastating Elspeth was last game.
Another island for Michael. This is a matchup where mono blue does a good job of getting ahead, but once it gets behind, it's very weak at playing catch up.
Yeah. And
here are the telltale that he has a second Bramaz. He's going to block Frostburn with Bramaz. Michael will triple pump Frostburn Weirds that trades with the cat. And if you're Michael, To me, that's a sign, hey, there's another Bramaz in here. And Mizium mortars the draw. Chris with all the lands to get up to Elspeth with a replacement cat in his hand.
So it looks like, yeah, he wants to actually kill one of the Mutavaults here. And
Yeah,
Michael's smells
he's
something going
thought
on
of
here.
this. He was getting ready to block. It's like, wait a sec. Wait. The best part is that Chris can force this block with impunity because what does Chris care about a 1/1 vigilant, you know?
Hmm. I don't love that play though, just because being able to overload the Mizium mortars later in the game might be a little more relevant than just randomly dealing with a Mutavault.
Sure. Mono blue doesn't really utilize many lands past the 5th very well. It's fine, but certainly like getting rid of Michael's 5th land isn't going to be a serious setback to him.
But I think the key thing here for Chris is if he gets rid of the second Mutavault, it prevents him from double blocking Bramaz. So I guess that's probably his logic.
Yeah, that's pretty strong. And so we see the second Bramaz on Yarbrough's side. And there will be another Frostmourne for Majors, and his hand is just islands.
And this is one of the situations where, and it looks like he drew a Stormbreath Dragon. So oh no, it's another mortar. So it looks like we are going to see the mortars take out potentially take out the Frostmourne.
Yeah, he does not have the land for his Elspeth as of yet.
So is he considering casting Supreme Verdict here? It looked like
That
he was
seems
tapped four
very
for a second.
aggressive,
Yeah,
yeah.
it doesn't seem like he needs to do that with the Mizium mortars.
So mortars the weird, swing with the cat. The Mutavault will go ahead and take out the 1/1. So just the 3/4 gets in. Now it's 14 all. And more lands from Majors. I think he has a Master Waves and an island.
Interesting play there by Chris. Chris could have attacked first and seen if Michael kind of activated his Mutavault. And
Right.
maybe could have gotten that. Because if he can
Well,
kill the Mutavault with the mortars, that's huge because...
But the Frostburn Weird could have traded with Bramaz. Which maybe
But
so
I think he'd be okay with that, though, since he has Elspeth. But
sure.
either way, Elspeth's going to come down here and make... it should probably make short work of Michael. Michael really just doesn't have any... He's just too far behind.
Drawn Judge is familiar, but once an Elspeth is down, the clock is ticking on Mono Blue Devotion, and this game is another example of that. And looks like Yarbrough may be advancing to our top 4, as he was able to survive long enough to hit the Elspeth.
And he still has Supreme Verdict in his hand, so...
Yep. Awaiting them in one thing in our top 4 is actually Eric Gray, the number 8 seed with Mono Blue Devotion, was able to defeat Cody Howard's Mono Black Devotion 2-0. So score at least one victory against Mono Black. Eric will be awaiting the winner.
So it's kind of funny. If Chris does win this game, which it looks like he will, we could have Chris play against the same deck that he played in top 8, and we already know that Kent is playing the same deck that he played against top 8, so we could have the exact same matches that we saw.
It's absolutely true.
So
Question is, will they be able to repeat their performances?
So it looks like we're gonna see a Supreme Verdict this turn. So Chris does attack with everything. Mutavault's gonna get it activated, which is perfect for him because now he's gonna be able to deal with the Mutavault with the Supreme Verdict. So that's exactly what's gonna happen. Mutavault gets activated. Michael probably smells what's coming at this point now. I mean,
well, he's just got to make Chris have it at each point, right? He needs to try to somehow get creatures off the board to attack Elspeth. If Chris has the verdict, Michael can't really play around it.
mm-hmm.
I like how he's playing this, but he just doesn't have too many options available to him.
Yeah, so Mutavault and one of the tokens can take out Bramaz, and then you can just block one of the other tokens. Yep, but again, Supreme Verdict here and then activate Elspeth is probably going to be game. Michael's not going to have anything other than islands in play after this turn, and I believe his hand is basically just land. I don't think he has any gas left.
All right, 1, 2, 3. So that is a block of 7 power. And we'll see the plays they make, but yeah, the problem is that none of these plays are answering the Elspeth.
Yeah,
and the Elspeth is what it's all about.
Doesn't matter. Supreme Verdict is going to get cast here. The board's going to get cleared, and Elspeth's going to get upticked.
Yep. So now no permanents, no creatures left, no permanents left for Michael other than islands. No cards in his hand. I think the cards in his hand are just islands.
It looks like Chris has an Assemble Legion in his hand as well.
Sure. All right.
Why not?
That's a Master Waves drawn for Michael. He'll cast it, but there are
Poor
few
man's
out.
Elspeth.
Yep. Your opponent has an Elspeth. That's not going to do much. 3-token swing. Michael goes down to 4. Elspeth reloads her army, and we should see next turn should get the match.
And Assemble the Legion probably gets cast here as well. Might as well.
Sure. Yep. Assemble. Absolutely. And the draw from Michael is going to be a negate.
Oh,
and that will be it.
Teeth.
So Chris Yarbrough, 2-1 with the comeback, falling down 1-0 to Michael Majors, is able to take the match and advance to the top 4, to where he will take on Eric Gray.
And, you know, he already defeated one Mono Blue Devotion deck. Now we're going to see him get a chance to defeat a second one. And I think before the game, I thought that Chris is actually favored a little bit. I thought his strategy was a little bit better, and having access to Mizzy Mortars is actually huge too, because sometimes you just want to be able to have a targeted removal spell. Some blue-white decks, you know, they have Last
Breath, but that didn't always target what you needed it to target. It was really bad at killing a Frostburn Weird, for example.
Yeah. So Chris Yarbrough moves on, and we're gonna have